It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go. Monday show, October 23rd, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, and the Fox local app if you are watching live. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to Woodward Sports and, of course, hit that like button. Braylon Edwards, good Monday afternoon to you, my friend.
Good Monday, my friend. It wasn't all bad news this past weekend. As you see, my boy is still sitting right in front of me comfortably, and that is Paul Bunyan. So not completely a bad week, but it was 50-50 if you ask me, man.
But at least it wasn't 0 for 2.
This is true.
Oh my gosh. Tom Mazaway, good afternoon to you, bud. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Beautiful fall weather out there. And we're getting some great weather this week thanks to Derek Kevra. DK helping us out this week with some 60s and 70s maybe this week. But if you were rooting for Michigan State and the Lions, if you're that kind of fan, you were down like 84-0 at one point and only scored 6 points between your two teams. It was not a good weekend for the green and white and the Honolulu blue silver with sometimes black accents. Horrible game yesterday. Absolutely, they did not show up.
You know, we'll talk plenty about Michigan throughout the day and that Michigan State game because it was a great game for Michigan. It's exactly what you wanted them to do. They did. Braylon,
I just want to say one thing about that because I know we're going to the Lions, which we should. The one thing I will say is Jim Harbaugh. I give him way more credit because if that would have been me in that situation, I would have hung 75 on Michigan State. So, shouts out to Jim Harbaugh because he's nicer than I am.
Hey, he would have had 56 had they not messed up the end of the first half.
Right.
Yeah.
What a disgrace that was.
Well, and then JJ didn't even play in the second half of the third quarter and into the fourth. But nonetheless, we'll talk about that. We're very happy about that. But we will start with the Detroit Lions, guys. It was a complete butt whooping from beginning to end, and I'm not even sure, if you even look at this tape. I was thinking to myself, why even look at? Just throw it away, hold it up. I know they don't do the VHS tapes anymore, but just hold the tape up, throw it in the trash can, and start working on the Raiders. That was, I don't want to say an embarrassment, but that was just a good old-fashioned getting your clock cleaned.
Yeah, it absolutely was. When I was with the Jets in 2010, we lost to the New England Patriots on the road at New England. We lost 49-3, and when we got back to the facility, we had a meeting. We burnt the ball, or Rex buried the ball. We never watched that film. We never talked about the game. Sometimes those games just happen in the NFL. I mean, you look at Lamar Jackson's record. I think he's 16-1 against NFC teams. He's been in the NFL. So when they play him, he's 16-1. So that's just not you, Detroit Lions. It's one of those teams. It's the AFC team. They beat you. It started at the beginning. Ryan, sometimes these games just happen, and it's less about what the team is and what they're not than just sometimes those days happen and you feel it from the jump. When they go down there in their own stadium, they score on the first drive, and then you come and you go 3 out. Ladies and gentlemen, game's over.
3 out, 3 out, 3 out.
Even the first one, you knew the game was over. Sometimes these games happen like that. Once you get to the end of the first half and it's 28-zip, now you start trying to find small wins. Win the second half. Try to play better in the second half. These are, as you say, they're throw-out games that you learn from with the rest of your schedule. It just happens. It's the NFL. It sucks that you got your ass whooped like that. But, Ryan, these games happen. They do. It's the NFL. The games like this happen.
We already see in the chat that Goff won't take us to the Super Bowl. And just to mention on him, he doesn't have a strong arm. He just doesn't. Yesterday I compared him to Billy Kilmer. Billy Kilmer played in the 1970s. He played for the Washington Redskins, played for the Saints before them. Kilmer threw wobblers. He could not throw a spiral for his life. And yesterday, with the wind, that's what Jared Goff looked like. There was some of the balls that he threw didn't even make it to the sideline. When I remember he was running for his life at one point, as he always was yesterday. And as he was throwing the ball, trying to get it out of bounds, it was 5 yards short of out of bounds. Yeah. He's an indoor quarterback, or it has to be very good weather. I'm sorry. That's what it is.
Yeah, maybe that is the case. But just looking at that game, I agree with you. Maybe that's the case. But just looking at that game, it's one of those ones where it starts. Lamar Jackson was hitting on all cylinders. The offensive coordinator, Tom Monken, they did a good job of allowing the backs to get out in the flats. They had a lot of late delayed release backs, helped him get the ball going, early passing the ball, getting their offense going. They just kept Detroit off balance from the start, and Detroit never got a chance to get back on. These games like this happen. You got to go look at film. You got to get better. But you got to look at it from this standpoint. That Baltimore Ravens team that you just played on the road, when you did not have David Montgomery, we talked about it. Those not having players, those missing players, like Maz is like, man, we've been doing so well, but it's the injuries that are going to get up. They're going to catch up to you at some point. You got to have your best players to play against the best. When you're the Detroit Lions, you got to have Dave Montgomery so the running game can get going. You got to have a CJ GJ so in the passing game they can get going. The Lions just caught the Baltimore Ravens, like we always talk about, at the right time. They were missing players that they needed, and they were hitting on all cylinders. Once the train started, it's one of those things, hey, let's stay healthy and let's try to have a better second half. We'll scrape this film, and then we got 8 more games to play in the season.
I know it would be much better radio or YouTube or whatever digital experience if we came out here, I'll speak for myself, and started going all nuts. Oh, same old Lions. Oh, they suck. Jared Goff sucks. Dan Campbell sucks. The Lions suck. They're not playing anybody. That's why they're winning all these games. The division sucks. Oh, these guys are going nowhere. I feel like that would be much better radio for you, or however you want to call it, much better show. I'm just not there. I do think this was just one game. And we can have a much better opinion about it after a week from tonight when they play the Raiders on Monday Night Football. Are they going to let this one game beat them twice, or are they going to get back on track? They went up against a buzzsaw yesterday in the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, the wind was swirling yesterday. It is much more difficult to throw when that wind is there. That's not just a Jared Goff thing. That is a most NFL quarterback thing, I think.
But more for him.
Maybe a little bit more for him, sure. Fine, absolutely. I mean, he was not good yesterday at all, but nobody was good yesterday at all. Not just Jared Goff. He had a lot of help in not being good yesterday.
St. Brown drop balls.
No doubt. When you have a team, and Dan Campbell said this earlier in the week, too. Dan Campbell said, we're going to hit a rough patch. When they're playing as good at football as anybody in the NFL, when he came out earlier this week and said we're going to hit a rough patch, I almost feel like he knew what was about to happen. Because it is very rare in the NFL that a team, I don't have numbers to back this up. This is just an unscientific poll from me watching football. Yeah. When a team wins the toss, they normally defer. When the Baltimore Ravens won the toss, wanted the football, and went down the field and scored like nothing. Yeah. And then the Lions went 3-and-out. I knew that game was over right there. That game was over right there. And Baltimore knew it was their day. Detroit knew it wasn't their day, and it was over quickly.
It definitely was over quickly. It's funny. I was texting Chad. Shout out to the boss man. We were texting before the game because I saw the, how they show the players walking in the tunnel, heading to the locker room, and they showed him, and he had his 2-dread ponytail look, and I was like, man. Every time he wears that, it's like on a big game. It's a Monday night, it's a Sunday night, and he does something spectacular. And I text Chad. I actually tweeted it. I was like, he's got their hairdo. This is going to be some problems for the Lions, and it was. They came out right away. They knew. They heard so many people talking about them not really being that good, having guys like myself playing the schedule that they've played, talking about this is a London game. What do teams typically do after they play in London? They come out slow. They come out sluggish. You saw what the Bills did, and by the time they looked up, they were in a dogfight. Now, they came out. They were ready. They were ready for this game. John Harbaugh prepared those guys to play this week against a really good team in the Detroit Lions. And you look at Dan Campbell, what he said, and maybe he's to the tune of this and saying, we know we're going to come up against a rough slide or rough skid, if you will. He knew that Baltimore team is good. When you watch the film, when you're coaching, you got to scout the team. You got to watch the film. And what they saw and what Dan Campbell saw on film, they saw on the field this past Sunday in MTN Bank Stadium. They were a damn good team. And, man, before the season, that was my Super Bowl pick. Thank God. I got somebody in the race. But,
you do.
But Ryan, it is a one-off. It's a one-off you can learn from, and it's not a jumping-off point. But at the same time, it is now, when you're winning, some of the things that you see, you don't necessarily address. When you got some linebackers that are over pursuing and don't cover the flat well, you don't necessarily cover to talk about it because you're winning. When you got receivers not necessarily being where they are in certain spots or certain guys not making plays, you don't say anything because you're winning. You're 5-1. You go over. But when you lose, now is the time to just address the things and clean it up. And also, you got to be buyers because teams that are trying to go to that Super Bowl, they're always looking to add to that team to make it better. You look at the St. Louis Rams or the Los Angeles Rams, Von Miller, Odell Beckham at the trade point last year with the Philadelphia Eagles, and Ndamukong Suh and Robert Quinn from the Chicago Bears. So always look to add to your team to add the value because this is still a Super Bowl team. They just got to add a couple caveats.
That is definitely something I want to explore a little further in just a little bit. Definitely
Halloween's
gotta
today.
about that. Got to talk about that trade deadline, and the Lions play on Monday.
Yeah.
The next day is the trade deadline. But just, is this a one-off or should we be a little concerned? I went back and I looked at the last 10 Super Bowl champions this morning, and I just wanted to see what their largest loss is or was of the regular season to see if this happens to Super Bowl champion teams. There were some stinkers in there. Kansas City, their largest loss last year, by the way, 4 points. But then the year before that, the Rams had a 21-point loss. The year before that, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. They had a 35-point loss. Kansas City won the Super Bowl the year before that, 7.
Yeah, they
something about Kansas City, but then New England had a 24-point loss. Philadelphia 14, New England 16, Denver 7, New England another 27-point loss. So these things do happen. And did you notice that New England 27, New England 24, Tampa Bay 35, all quarterbacked by Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like you can't appropriately discuss this football game and what we saw on the field without seeing next week's football game against the Raiders. I feel like that is going to be the true test as to what this team has decided about itself.
Yeah, on defense it was pretty simple. It was from the standpoint, it's Lamar Jackson. Earlier you get a couple runs by Lamar Jackson, gets the defense because they're trying to rush the quarterback. He's getting runs. So now you got to take a second and delay your blitz. You can't run all the time. You can't run up the field because you're over pursuing. You're giving Lamar easy lanes to take off and run. So now the Detroit Lions, who have been really good in the pass rush game the last 4 weeks, Ryan, now they can't rush like they normally do. They're just trying to keep him in the pocket. And now that they're keeping him in the pocket, the fact that you don't have Emmanuel Mosley, the fact that you don't have Jared Jacobs, the fact that you don't have CJ GJ, now that's showing up even more. And oh, by the way, the guy that's throwing the ball, you try to put him in the pocket. Right now in the NFL, he's the most efficient quarterback in the pocket in the league. So you thought you were helping yourself, and you actually put him exactly where the Baltimore Ravens wanted him to be. There was nothing they could do about this game. Once you get down 28-0, before you blink, Ryan, this game was over. Now you just try to stay healthy.
Guys, we will talk about Michigan State, what happened on the field in East Lansing. Tom Mazaway was there. We'll go around the NFL. Something happened with our pick segment this week that was just too good to be true. You won't believe what you see, but you will hear from Dan Campbell on this loss, what it means to the team. You'll hear from him next. But first, a message from Dispo.
Open now to midnight in Romeo. It is the local plug, Michigan's largest cannabis mall. 21 and up is what you have to be. They have the best brands all around the world. But mostly, we like to stay here in Michigan. Over 12 locations around the state. Cannabis Mall, 21 and up, rec only. Hyman Brands products are the best ways to consume your cannabis. Dispo, your local plug.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason without any penalty at all? That is exactly what Mark White and Associates is offering. It's called their minute-by-minute listing agreement by Mark White and Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate, visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. That number again, 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
Those guys, they played well. They kicked our ass, and it's a credit to them. Lamar beat us. He hammered us with his arm. He threw the ball extremely well. He ran when he needed to, and we did not handle it well. Our energy was good, which is crazy. You come out of a game like that and you look at the score. Our energy was good, but our detail and discipline, which has been so good over the last 4 or 5 weeks, was not good enough. So self-induced, that was a combination of a lot of different things, and just like we win as a team, we lose as a team, and that was one of those.
And that was Dan Campbell after yesterday's loss to the Baltimore Ravens, and boy, was it ever. 38-6. Game was over really quickly, and I think there are some concerns. But again, from where I sit, Braylon Edwards, I just don't think that you can appropriately make a determination on who this Detroit Lions team is without seeing how they react to this loss. If you never want to let one game beat you twice. If they come out flat on Monday Night Football and lose to the Raiders, well, then this was a bad loss, and I think there's some serious question marks about where this season goes from here. But if you come out next week and you beat the Las Vegas Raiders and go to the bye with a 6-2 record, with losing a game against Baltimore on the road, which 99.9% of Lions fans, I think, said would happen when the schedule came out, well, then I think you're just doing okay. And if you look at Baltimore, Bray, you wouldn't see Baltimore to the Super Bowl. And I think there's a lot of Lions fans that would take that. A Lions-Ravens Super Bowl, because that means you're there.
Look, at the end of the day, they're 5-2. The Detroit Lions right now in top of their division, and they're 5-2. They ran against a juggernaut. They caught them at the right time. They kicked their ass. Yes, that game's over. You got 10 games left against a very favorable schedule. I like what Dan Campbell said. I like how he put him in the mindset. He said, listen, our energy was still great. You know why the energy was still great? It's because, look, you understand that you had some players missing. It's kind of like Kansas City's energy. When Kansas City lost to the Detroit Lions, they didn't panic. Obviously, it was the discrepancy in the score, but a loss is a loss. You didn't get two for the way they lost yesterday. Kansas City said, hey, let's not panic. We're still good. We still got what's in front of us. We'll get some players back. And then once we get some players back, we'll start to understand who we really are, and we'll start to make some moves. Look at Kansas City now. That's going to be the Detroit Lions. You get C.J. GJ back. You'll get to start using Jamison Williams in the right way. You'll get David Montgomery back, which will help you use Jahmyr Gibbs finally in the right way. Good to see him in the end zone. No matter when he came, he still got in the end zone finally. So just take it as a loss. But look in the mirror, though. Like, this is a good time to look in the mirror. Are you doing everything you're supposed to be doing? Are you doing some extra work? Are you doing extra film study? Are you seeing things and not bringing it up to the coach? Or as a coach, are you seeing a player not do things and you're not bringing it up because you're like, we're 5-1, we'll figure that out. This is a great point, and this is a great team to come up against the Raiders, who aren't playing their particularly best football that they played over the last 5 years. So go back to the film, go back to the drawing board. This team is fine. They got their ass whooped, but Ryan, there's one game to a team that might be in the Super Bowl at the end.
Yeah, it's a loss that we all had penciled in at the beginning of the year. We all changed our mind because, let's face it, we're all Lion fans. And we thought, this is a different Lions team. They're going to win this game. Well, they ran into a juggernaut.
Yes.
And thank God Baltimore didn't have enough time to really prep for this game, because we all thought they were going to catch them at the right time coming home from London. But John Harbaugh, let's just call this a Harbaugh weekend.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh on Saturday, John Harbaugh on Sunday. Lamar Jackson, I know, Ryan, you brought up the noodle arm. Well, I brought up the noodle arm of Jared Goff. that he can't really throw against the wind or whatever like that. But Lamar Jackson threw for over 300 yards. I just want to make that point.
Man.
At one point, it was 28-0 in the first half, and Fox put up a stat. The last time the Lions were down this many points in the first half, you go back to 1991 against the Washington Redskins. And what happened at the end of that year?
NFC Championship.
They won their playoff game and faced those same Redskins at RFK Stadium. Got their butts whipped there too, but they made it to the NFC Championship game. So that kind of gave me a little glimmer of hope when I saw that stat.
Hey, Maz, what do you think the phone call conversation was between John and Jim Saturday morning? Because whatever the hell that was said between those two, oh, my God. Like, whatever was said, and maybe Jack, maybe he called in on three-way, but whatever said by those talk about Saturday morning really got those teams going. Yeah, I mean, it's a butt woman, but you know what? It's good, and this isn't college where you lose early and you're like, oh, it's over. So this is the NFL where you lose early, and now you can reassess some things. Now you sometimes butt whoopers are good, right? Because now maybe I thought I was really doing this, and I got to watch the film a little more detailed. Now I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of tipping my route, so I'm tipping my, where I'm throwing the ball, and my footwork isn't as good. This is a good butt whoop. It's not a loss. It's not a loss because sometimes even in a close loss, you still might gloss over things. But when you get your butt handed to you, like they just did on the road, now you got to go look in that mirror, that man in the mirror. You got to be honest with yourself. Hey, J-Mo, I'm in the mirror. Damn, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Am I working on my catching drills the right way? Am I watching my film? If I'm the offensive line, hey, am I making sure that I'm chipping at the right time? And I'm making sure that I'm really getting my left foot in the ground as I go left and go up the field. So it's a good time to look in the mirror and just adjust some things. Sometimes these things happen and they're necessary. I told you, 49-3. The Patriots beat the hell out of us, and we thought it was over. We ended up getting them back in the playoffs. We beat them in the semifinals. So these things happen sometimes.
Bray, would you look at the film? If you're Dan Campbell, would you sit there today and look at the film?
Damn right I would.
You would?
Yeah. If I'm Dan Campbell, I'm looking at the film.
Oh, yeah.
Coaches are looking at it, not the players. Because I don't want to look at it as players and a coaching staff. Because when you sit in those situations, a lot of times, you want the player to do on his own. Like you want to, because it's a lot of blame. It's a lot of blame to point around. Sometimes the back and forth won't be good in the team meeting room. Sometimes you want the players to do it on their own and look themselves in mirrors. But the coaches, they damn sure better look at that film so that they don't get put in that situation again.
Guys, let me tell you about Woodward Nights. Booner and Broder team up for some high-level sports talk every night, every weeknight. Welcome to Woodward Nights featuring Booner and Broder, two of Detroit's newest up-and-coming sports personalities. Weekdays, 8 to 10 p.m. Join Booner and Broder every single night to hear some of Detroit's hottest takes on WSN's YouTube channel. Bray, you mentioned Jameson Williams. If you look at the stat sheet, 6 targets, 0 catches, 0 yards for zeros all across the board. He is a guy that is... There's a lot of Detroit Lions fans expect a lot from him.
Yeah.
I am not sitting here ready to write this kid off yet at all. But I think looking at a stat line like that, seeing David Montgomery out, there are a lot of people that will start to write him off. Or at least the conversation has gone from, oh, this is 100% sure thing to at least maybe an 80% sure thing now. Where are you on Jameson Williams, and do people need to walk back from the ledge when it comes to Jameson Williams? Or do you believe there's some real concern here?
I don't think people. How do I say this? This damn earpiece in. I'm somewhere in the middle. But what I will say is people don't need to blame Jameson Williams. Let me start there. Jameson Williams is 22 years old when he was drafted. He was 20, he had a knee injury. He's a young man. I looked at where I was at 20. At 20 years old, I still was at University of Michigan trying to figure it out. I'd be damned if I was 20, torn ACL, and drafted into the NFL a little bit later at 21 and still trying to figure it out, and then you have the gambling thing. So I think he's put a lot on his mental, and a lot has happened to him in the space of him still being young, him still being a kid. And, he had to sit out all last year kind of by himself. It's a very lonely place for a guy. And then he had to sit out again with the gambling thing. So he had to sit out again. So it is a very interesting place. Now on the football field, hey, you guys drafted him. You guys drafted Jameson Williams with the idea of what he was going to be and how you were going to implement him. I don't think they've done a good enough job trying to implement him into the system from the start of it. Ben Johnson's second-year offensive coordinator last year was his first year. You knew at some point Jameson Williams was going to be the wide receiver. You knew that he was going to be the wide receiver for this type of offense. I don't think he's done a good enough job of getting a role for Jameson Williams within his offense. I think a lot, they just try to place him out there and hope it works. Hey, let's put him out there and let's try to run the deep over that he ran in Alabama a lot. It's the only pass I see them throwing to him, and then maybe a hitch here or there. You got to get the guy going. You got to get the guy going with some easy stuff, like some hitches, some slants. Get him going. Get him a place in the field in the offense. It just seems like for him, he's a plant in the offense. Like everything else, Sam Laporta and how they use Sam Laporta, what they're trying to do with David Montgomery in the running game, Amon-Ra St. Brown. They have, even with Josh Reynolds, they're route runners. They're really good route runners. It just doesn't seem like they have an actual fit or idea of what they want to do with Jameson Williams.
Listen, Bray, you've hit it all on the head there. You're a wide receiver. You're an all-pro wide receiver, number 3 pick in the draft. They don't trust him.
Nope.
Because he drops the ball. Now, we don't see him in practice. I don't know how many drops he has in practice. But when he said, when he was, sitting out and, on the suspension, he was catching 100 balls out of the jugs machine. Well, maybe he should have caught 300. I don't know. He's not a trustworthy target. Now, I'm with you. You got to know. You got to let him go out there and find out. And maybe this Raider team is the team you do it against. Maybe you go out there and you design 10 different plays for him. And let's see what he has. Because right now, I got my qualms. I've got my questions. Because he drops 70% so far of the passes that have been thrown to him.
Yeah, Maz, I'm 100% with you. And look at it right here. With Jameson Williams, at the end of the day, you drafted him 12th overall. You moved up 20 picks to draft him 12 overall. No matter what happened with the ACL or what happened with the gambling, you were sure of the talent when you moved up to get him at 12th overall. So what you got to do, you got to be like the Kansas City Chiefs, or you got to be like these teams. They move off of players if it's not there. So you got to start giving him a situation where, look, we're going to flood him with passes, and now you're coming up against a part of your schedule where you're playing some teams outside of the next 2. You can really, really, really use him and see what he's got. I'm telling you, I would start targeting him 7-8 times and really, really get him some passes out there. Let me see what you can do. Because if he can make those plays, then we know that our investment was right a year ago in the draft, and now we can start to formulate a plan and use it. But if we do that and we consistently see what? We consistently see him dropping pass, shy away from the moment, or be too young for it and can't handle it. Look, I love you as a person. I appreciate you being drafted by a Detroit Lions, but maybe you will have to move on from him after the season. But if you don't give him a chance to show you that, if you give him 2 plays here and then you don't like him and then he doesn't get another one until next game, or he doesn't get another one to the 3rd game, then you're just never going to know. See what he is now. Because if he's not that, then you can move off of him next year as opposed to continuing to waste time.
Without David Montgomery in the lineup yesterday and without Marvin Jones in the lineup yesterday, I thought Jameson Williams would have a pretty decent day, or at least a moment in that game. And to have 6 targets and come up with Zatsky was a little concerning for me. And again, I'm not ready to write this kid off yet. But what the Detroit Lions have to do is they have to figure it out if this guy is the real deal or if he's Trey Lance. Sometimes you just make a mistake. Okay? The Lions traded up to number 12 to get Jameson Williams. The San Francisco 49ers traded 3 future first-round picks, traded up to get Trey Lance. It was a big mistake, and they moved off of him. What the Detroit Lions have to do is decide, is this a mistake or is this not, before it's too far gone and nobody wants him and you can't get anything for him. I don't think you're there yet, but I agree with you, Bray. They got to come up with something for number 9 to see what this kid can do. More on this, and we'll get into the trade deadline. What area does this team need more than anything? I think we have some answers for that. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has a ton of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You can get all this for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in the Metro Detroit area and thousands more throughout the world. Planet Fitness, it's Planet Fitness where your fitness is essential.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Mikey.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Hey guys, when it comes to your pet, you don't settle. You give your pet the best. That's why you want to give them Premier Pet Supply. Hands down, Michigan's best pet store, family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, the lowest prices in town, and they'll even deliver it curbside to your house if you want it. Premier Pet Supply, give your pet the best. Check them out at premierpetsupply.com.
It's nothing serious, which is good. Talking about Khalif. Did you ask about anybody else, or was it just Khalif? Oh, Mo and, all right, first of all, Mo's in the hospital.
Did we find out what
having
happened to that kid?
right now. Sounds like he'll be okay. But he's going to stay here overnight, he's tough. I hate that for him. But, that certainly puts a strain on our team. And then Khalif is all right. He got some cramps there at the end, but he'll be fine.
That was Dan Campbell talking about the injuries. Nothing major with Khalif Raymond, but Mo Abraham.
Poor kid.
Poor kid. First time he touches the football.
Jesus.
A dislocated hip.
Come on, man.
That's
After battling through college with those knees,
And
one shot he gets the damn squib kick.
Yeah, it sucks. You feel bad for him, especially. It's just, and for him more certainly, it's talk about him. You feel bad for the kid, everything he battled at University of Minnesota, and now first touch, like you said, it sucks. And then dislocated hip.
That's it.
As soon as I heard dislocated hip, the first person
Bo
I thought
Jackson.
of. And it's funny, he's wearing the White Sox because after Bo dislocated his hip, he still came back and hit 20 home runs with the White Sox. Shout out to Bo Jackson. But it's just a tough injury to come back from, and Bo's inhuman. That's why he came back from it. So we wish him well. But once again, it just goes back to what's been biting the Detroit Lions the last 5 weeks. It's been injuries. Mm-hmm. It's been injuries. Every time, here's another running back. Goes down. Zonovan McKnight comes in. Goes down. Dave Montgomery goes out. Comes back. Goes down. Jameer Gibbs goes down. Like, it's the injury.
It's an epidemic.
And especially at that position. But it is a part of the game. Dan Campbell will figure it out. Hopefully with David Montgomery, man. Remember last week the press conference when he was talking about David Montgomery, when you pointed it out, you said, I don't know, man. It sounds like there's something going on with David Montgomery.
It reads differently than it says.
And now look at it because now he may be out for even longer. And like you said, he knew this team is a much different team when they can run the ball. I mean, when they can run the ball with David Montgomery. Look at the game when Jameer Gibbs starts against the Falcons versus when he comes back, David Montgomery against Green Bay Packers and Carolina Panthers. It's just a different offense with David Montgomery in there.
Here's another bad thing that we didn't talk about. Jerry Jacobs was a scratch, and it turns out he fell awkwardly on his knee in practice on Friday. Here's another Friday-Saturday injury that we don't hear about until game time, and he was a scratch at game time. He tried to give it a go, and what did I write you guys? I wrote us. I'm like, I put it out there. Ryan wrote, that's it. That's it.
What was
how many and then Charles Harris was a scratch.
How hard are they practicing on Friday? Because when I was in the NFL, you practice hard on Wednesday. You practice hard on Thursday. It's not quite a walkthrough, but you don't wear pads. You just wear jerseys. You just wear shorts. When you're in jerseys and shorts, not even shells, You're just going out there about 70%, but you're just efficient. You're not tackling. You're not hitting. How did he fall on Friday?
Well, you bring up a great point when you talk about Jerry Jacobs. The trade deadline is 1 week from tomorrow. Yeah. This team absolutely needs to go get some help at cornerback. It's the bottom line. Like, no jokes. No, go get yourself some help at cornerback. This team is one Cam Sutton injury away.
And running back.
Well, maybe Montgomery can come back, Maz.
I still want another running back.
Fine. Right. But what I'm saying is I think it's almost more imperative to go get yourself a cornerback. If Cam Sutton, heaven forbid, came up with a hamstring or a groin or whatever the case may be, and he was out for 2 weeks, I don't see how this team defends it. Kirby Joseph is not having a good year at all.
And I think he got concussed yesterday.
I think he did too.
He might be out next week.
He may be out next week. Yeah. He has not played good football at all, and a lot of that might be the injuries because he's dealt with the injury bugs. Jerry Jacobs goes down yesterday, so you put Will Harris in there. Will Harris is fine right. I mean, I'm trying to be kind here. I'm trying to be kind, but heaven forbid something happens to Cam Sutton. Your season is over. You can't stop a nosebleed if Cam Sutton doesn't shut down half the field.
There's nothing wrong with talking about Will Harris not being it. There's a reason why he's a fourth-string DB on the Lions team. It's nothing, not a knock. He's not a 1, 2, 3. He's a 4 for the Detroit Lions. I put a post up on X. Excuse me, I got to start saying X again like you, Ryan. You say it so well. I put up a post on X saying, like, the Lions need to be buyers at the trade deadline. And Matt Broder, shout out to our Broder, our resident guy in there with the Detroit Lions insider. And he said, Braylon, what positions would you go? I said, first you need an edge rusher. You need another edge rusher. Like, that's the position that I would go after first in the trade deadline. I would get another edge rusher. I would get a DB. Like, I'm talking about a solid 2 DB or solid 3 if you get him out there. And then I would get another wide receiver and Mass maybe a running back. I would get those 3 positions because I think you got to have balance on the other side. And I understand there was some good rushing in there, but you got to look at those offensive lines and how those offensive lines were. Aiden Hutchinson's your only actual pass rusher. He's a stud. Like, he's a stud, but when he can't have those games or when you're not playing offensive lines aren't that good, they struggle. You saw it against the first game of the season. You saw him against the Seattle Seahawks. These are playoff teams we're talking about. They struggle. So I would get him some help. We talked about Leonard Williams potentially last week, but got to get that. I'd say definitely another DB. I say another playmaker wide receiver.
I'll tell you what you're not going to do, though, and I see some of this in the chat. You're not trading a first-round pick.
No.
I just don't believe you're trading a first-round pick for any one player in this season. And whether it's right or whether it's wrong.
That's Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I just don't see this team moving out of the first round with having the NFL draft in Detroit.
They're not gonna, Ryan. You're right.
I just, again, so any player that you get, I don't think is a 2024 first round draft pick. I can't imagine the NFL draft coming to Detroit and the Lions not having a first round pick. I cannot see it organizationally.
I'm just gonna play devil's advocate. So this isn't me trying to come against you, Pauls. This is just. I
appreciate the conversation.
Appreciate that. What if it's Devontae Adams? And I understand that Brad Holmes, the mad scientist, I understand what he's done and how he's saved picks and how he hasn't spent money. He hasn't been very rash as it relates to, oh, shoot, we're struggling right now. Let me make a rash move. He hasn't done that at all, so we give him a lot of credit for that. But sometimes you got to make a rash move. Sometimes you got to make that move that's going to take you over the top. I've talked about Odell Beckham and Von Miller with the Rams 2 years ago. They won the Super Bowl. Last year, Robert Quinn and Dominican Sue. And I understand these are older players. But you're saying you wouldn't give away a first-round pick just for the sake of the 2024 draft when potentially that player that you would get in return for that first-round pick could get you to the Super Bowl this year. So would you sacrifice the Super Bowl this year for the draft next year?
Well, look, I don't think this team is a wide receiver away from winning the NFC, but
okay.
Then you turn on Sunday Night Football last night, and you see what A.J. Brown can do. A.J. Brown completely changes the dynamic of a football game.
Call.
So could the Lions use a wide receiver the caliber of an A.J. Brown a la a Devontae Adams? Yes.
Yeah.
Does Devontae Adams just switch locker rooms on Monday night? That would be something. Would I do that? I do that? Yes, I would do that. But I don't think Brad Holmes does that.
Gotcha.
It just seems so out of character. But we'll see what happens. I would much rather see this team shore up something defensively than to go out there and try. Look, I'm just not ready to give up on J-Mo yet either.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just not there yet. And maybe
But 0 for 6 yesterday didn't help.
But again,
But a lot of those passes suck.
You know, Devontae Adams is going to be 31 years old. How much longer do you have Devontae Adams? You know, if this is year one of what we believe is a good 5-6 year window of competing for the NFC, how many of those 5 to 6 years will you have a good dominant Devontae Adams? I mean, I think of Marvin Jones right now. He's 33 years old, and he's the oldest wide receiver in the league, though. That's 2 years from now.
But they also different caliber wide receivers, though.
I totally understand that, but there's
not this year though.
Even this year, if you look at his stats, even he's not having the best year, but he's played with 4 quarterbacks this year. I'm not making an excuse for that drop you had. That drop is a drop. Like, that drop is a drop.
I saw that, yeah.
It's just a bad team.
It's a bad team.
Yeah.
It is a horribly bad team. He's played with 4 quarterbacks this year. All ages.
Facts.
It's bad
When you play like look, when you play for a team like the Raiders right now, you play down to that team. It's the way it is. You know what I mean? It's almost like you bring up Swift a lot. Yeah. Swift in Detroit is not Swift in Philadelphia right now.
We don't know that.
I do know that.
No, you don't.
That's Devontae Adams right now. I mean, it's almost.
You know where?
Yeah.
You know where Swift is from, also too, man.
Philly.
So there's a little bit more energy there. He's energy.
I get it.
But it's funny. Somebody else was talking. Was it Rex Ryan talking about this? He said Randy Moss is his favorite wide receiver of all time. He said he's like me. Jerry's the best. Randy's my favorite. Jerry Rice only looked. Randy Moss only looked bad in one place. Where was that? It was when he was Oakland, the Raiders. Yeah, Devontae's with the Raiders too.
Right.
I have a name for you guys for that trade deadline.
Sure.
Pat Surtain with the Broncos.
That cost you a first.
That cost you a first.
Yeah, that's
You're not getting him.
Maybe I'd say a second and probably a player you can give up to get that guy.
Or 2 picks.
2 picks, yeah.
I give 2 picks for Surtain. I mean, you're talking about a lockdown DB.
That's a selling team right there.
He's the only good player on that team this year.
How about this silly thing? I'll just throw it out there.
Okay.
The Raiders are going nowhere, right? They're looking for a youth movement. I'll swap you J-Mo for Devontae Adams right now, and we take his money.
I mean, I just don't know what.
I'm just throwing it out there as just a stupid throw it out there. Would you do it? Hey, chat, would you do that?
Yeah.
If you could physically possibly do it with the cap and all of that kind of crap,
player for player, yes.
Would you trade J-Mo for Devontae Adams?
Yes, 100% would do that. Let's try to bring it back into the scale of reality a little more.
I'll throw Derrick Henry in there too while you're at it.
Let's bring it back into the scale of reality. At the end of the day, the Lions are 5-2. They have some question marks, and we just need them to get answered. We want Dan Campbell and we want Brad Holmes to show us what you did in the offseason with constructing this team. You went out and got Emmanuel Mosley. You went out and got C.J. G.J. You went out and got Cam Sutton. Have that same energy now with the trade deadline looming, because there are some players, there are some situations, whether it's a pass rusher, whether it's a wide receiver, definitely a DB. Make some moves. Like, I'm tired of always being like, we have everything we need, we got the guys. Sometimes you got to add some guys during the season, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of Super Bowl teams in the last 5 years. I don't even have to go way back to show you last-minute adjustments to their team and helping them get to a certain place. Shoot. I left Cleveland, horrible situation. The New York Jets picked me up at the trade deadline, and I'm not saying I was the reason. We went to the AFC Championship that year. They knew they needed another wide receiver. They picked me up, Jericho Cotchery. It was a great match.
By the way, there's a lot of yeses popping up on the chat.
Guys, we'll go around the NFL. We will also talk Michigan State coming up in hour number 2. Lots to get to on a Monday, but first a message from the Hamlin Pub.
Have you ever wanted a bar where you are a regular? We have just the place for you. Head to one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations and experience where everyone's a regular, and join Woodward Sports for their Lions postgame show live from Hamlin Pub on Tinkin Road this Sunday. Stick, Maz and Moore will be there to break down the Lions.
That was last Sunday.
Well, that was for
it was yesterday.
Sunday, but they'll be there.
We'll be there in the future.
Lions versus Raiders game. We will see you from our live show from Hamlin Pub on Tinkin Road this Monday. Experience your favorite new pub for all things sports.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
$100,000 Vegas getaway. Take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy. You can drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win. Register at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy your Cintron at your local Meijer. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Cintron. So go to the website drinkcintron.com/Vegas for your chance at a $100,000 Vegas getaway.
Coming back.
Listen, I was pleased
My
with
bad,
Gibbs.
my bad.
I was pleased. It was good having him back out there, you know. And man, I thought he took a step forward today. You know, I think he was one of the guys that there was some real positive things in there. And man, I just thought he had pretty good vision. I thought he set some runs up really well. And there again, I felt, okay, he's a little better, and I just feel like the more he plays, the better he's going to get. So that's another step in the right direction.
Yeah, Tom Mazaway will gloat that, yes, over 100 yards and a touchdown for Jahmyr Gibbs, but nonetheless, he was one bright spot, you know, albeit a little bit too late. Jahmyr Gibbs, 11 carries, 68 yards and a touchdown, 21-yard touchdown, and Gibbs caught 9 passes out of the backfield on 10 targets. That is one area I think that you were excited about when the Lions got Jahmyr Gibbs, is his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. So he had a really nice day yesterday, albeit, you know, almost meaningless yards and meaningless touches. You're just trying to get to the end of that game. It's 28-0. You're just trying to get to the end of it. I even thought they should have gotten Jared Goff out of there.
Me too. Fourth quarter, I didn't want any of the guys in.
No, I didn't want anybody in there. But again, we'll, look, I'm just not going to freak out over this one loss. I'm just not going to do it.
Me neither.
And I think this is still a good football team. I don't think this changes anything that I felt about this football team. I still feel like they're going to win the NFC North. I still feel like they're going to host a playoff game. I still think they will compete for a number 1 seed. And once they get into the playoffs, I think they will win at least one playoff game. After that, we'll see where it goes. But nothing that happened on the field yesterday in Baltimore changes my feelings about that. Jared Goff will be the best quarterback on the field in each of the next 8 games they play.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Is your views not changing? Because let's be honest, before that game they lost to the Ravens, like, you had Super Bowl aspirations. Now you're asking, okay, but now you're saying, all right, well, they'll host a playoff game, they'll win a playoff game. Is it because you know they don't play any more good teams on that schedule? Or is it because you still feel the exact same way you felt before the Ravens game?
I don't think you're pumping your chest out on Sunday afternoon like you were on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
You know, after that game, absolutely you were like, oh, here's a little piece of humble pie for all Lions fans. So there's no doubt about that. But I look, again, you can only play who's in front of you. This isn't college. This isn't Pee-wee. You're not, like, hand-picking your schedule a lot of times. The NFL gives the Lions a schedule. They play it. It's not the Lions' fault that the Packers, Bears, and Vikings all suck. It's not the Lions' fault that the Raiders suck. It's not the Lions' fault that Atlanta and Carolina are no good. These are just the teams on the Lions' schedule. Now, the game against the Raiders this week, the Lions are one of the heaviest favorites of the weekend. They're an 8-point favorite this weekend on Monday night. and then they go to face Justin Herbert and the Chargers. I'm sorry. Justin Herbert does nothing for me.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert is Matthew Stafford reincarnated in 12 seasons in Detroit. And I understand his coach sucks. I'm sorry for that. But at some point, you as this transcendent player in the NFL, this golden boy of the NFL, he's not very good. He's got the numbers, and he's got this, and he's got the arm strength, and he can make all the throws. And he looks the part. But you know what he can't do?
What?
He doesn't win.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to write Jameson Williams. There's people in Detroit that are trying to write off JMO after 3 freaking games. This guy's got 55 games, Justin Herbert. He's a losing player. 27-28 in 55 games started in the National Football League. I'm sorry. I feel like we know what Justin Herbert is. So forgive me if I believe the Detroit Lions can go in there and beat a football team where the coach isn't very good. The quarterback, yes, has talent, but he's not God's gift. So, yeah, I do think they can go in and beat the Chargers in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I definitely think that they're going to beat the Chargers, and I know they're going to wipe the floor with the Raiders. As it relates to Justin Herbert, before we get back to the Lions, just to schedule, look, Justin Herbert's played with 2 terrible, terrible coaches. Anthony Lynn, who I love to death, but as a head coach, he wasn't in. Brandon Staley even admitted, finally, it took him 3 years to admit after a game that it was his fault. Thank you for admitting that, although knew what the issue was. You look at the quarterbacks, man, at the Golden Gooses, until they get with a coach that really is a good coach. Look at Brett Favre before he got with Holmgren. Like, Brett Favre was just a running around cage and losing games, losing record. He gets with Mike Holmgren. Now he's a Hall of Famer, one of the best of all time. I mean, you look at Patrick Mahomes, yeah, he's that guy. Doesn't hurt that Andy Reid's his guy. That is his coach. So I think when he gets with a better coach, you'll have a better opinion. But as of right now, your opinion is very valid. Just get back to the Detroit Lions. You're right. It is about the schedule. It is about who they play. And looking at the schedule, it gives them a great opportunity to figure these things out. Like, we know that they're going to beat the rest of the teams on their schedule. We know that eventually players are going to get healthy. But where the Lions can win in the next week is they can win the players that they add before the trade deadline or getting players back, and then they can work on the things that didn't go right yesterday and implement them into the game. But to your point with that schedule, they have a schedule that's going to allow them to be exactly where they want to be come January, preventing health.
Their goals do not change, Tom Mazaway, as far as I'm concerned.
Lions have the highest spread this week against the Raiders. They're laying 8 points. That could change depending on these injuries. We'll see how it goes. Josh McDaniels is a terrible coach. He will not coach the Raiders after this year. I'm convinced that he will be fired. He should be fired. Brandon Staley, he'll be fired. Sean Payton, who the hell knows what he's going to do with the Broncos? We get to see them at the end of the year. But you got to beat this team on Monday Night Football. You must beat them. What I saw yesterday at Hamlin Pub, by the way, it's the best sports bar I've been to, and I've been to them all. Hamlin Pub in Rochester Hills, is outstanding on Teakin Road and Rochester Road. Great place. We did our post-game show from there yesterday.
You enjoyed it?
I want to thank everybody. I enjoyed myself. Good. And the place is outstanding. That said, there were 2 TVs right by me. One game was the Lions. Right next to it was the Bears against the Raiders. So I watched the 2 future Monday night game right there in front of me. The Bears ran roughshod with a backup quarterback that I don't even know who he is. They ran right through the Raiders. And, of course, we all know what the Ravens did to the Lions. The Bears are an improving team, believe it or not. They're playing hard.
Yeah.
They are playing hard. But if they can trash the Raiders, the Lions better look in the mirror this week and come out and really punch them in the face. Maybe kick their teeth in on Monday Night Football for Lomas Brown night.
Yeah, I knew the Bears were going to play hard. That's why I picked them, and you picked the Raiders. Now I'm just
I picked the Bears.
He picked the Raiders. Side note, and this is just mark the date down. For the draft next year, Ryan Ermanni, and for 25 and for 26, do me one favor. Even though he's the mad scientist, I love what they're doing. Do me one favor. Don't draft another guy at 12 and then tell me I got to wait to see the implementation of the process. Like, I'm tired of drafting guys at 12, whether it's JMO, who I'm not giving up on at all, and damn sure not giving no Gibbs as well. But stop drafting guys at 12 and then telling me, we'll get them implemented, or we got to ease them into it. When you draft a guy at 12, just look at the guys that were drafted in the 12th spot before Williams and Gibbs. Micah Parsons in 21. Did they have to wait? Henry Ruggs in 2020. We know what happened off the field, but he was balling on the field. Rashawn Gary, been to the Pro Bowl twice already. Vita Vea helped them win the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. Deshaun Watson, before old Massage Gate, we know what he was with the Houston Texans. So don't draft any more players at the 12th pick and then tell me we're going to get them implemented or we just want this to be. When you draft a guy at the 12th
Put him
pick,
out there.
That guy is supposed to change your franchise. And it may not show right away in terms of he may not get it right away, but you see it instantly. You're like, okay, when they figure it out with this player, it's going to hit. Stop drafting guys at 12 and then telling me I got to wait to see the process.
Well, Garrett Wilson and
Olave.
Olave.
The 5 guys I just named that were drafted the 5 previous years before Jameson Williams, all those guys, you know what they were.
It's a great point. I will say too. I mean, there's guys that drafted number 1 that don't hit. Though.
This is true.
I mean,
but when you moving up
crapshoot.
When you moving up 20 picks, it better not be a crapshoot.
Well, that's exactly. And I use the San Francisco with the Trey Lance. They traded 3 first-round picks for this guy.
That's trying to get on a quarterback. That's different than moving up the draft.
That's being the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's I got something for you guys. Watch
Speaking of the smartest guy in the room, how about for all the inside scoop on your Detroit Lions? It's Woodward and Main Show featuring Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and the legend Terry Foster. Episodes twice a week, including tomorrow morning, Tuesdays, 7 to 8 a.m. Then on Sundays, 8 to 9, the most in-depth reporting and breakdown of the game, the players, and all things Detroit Lions. Just go to YouTube and type Woodward Sports. I'm coming up against it here, guys, but I do want to say I had a weekend with our picks that I don't even know if I could try to do what I did. I had an 0 for 7 on the picks, guys. I have fallen to 21 and 20. I came into the week 21 and 21. I leave 21 and 28.
I'm ahead of you now.
Braylon was 4 and 3. He's at 23 and 26 on the year.
Cleveland screwed me. I said before.
Maz is 2 and 5. He had a terrible week. But still, he is 29 and 20 on the year. This was just a tough week, but I've seen a lot of weeks in my day. I've never seen an 0.
How about the Survivor? We've got a new Survivor pool starting.
And the Buffalo Bills screwed me in the Survivor.
Ryan's out. I had the Seahawks, so I won the Survivor of our show.
Cardinal rule with the Survivor, though, too. Man, I knew Buffalo's the highest number on the board this week.
Yeah.
I had to take him. I had to. And they have a 25-22 lead.
They had to come back from 2 touchdowns down to get that.
Yeah, they come back from 2 touchdowns down. They lead at 25-22 with 1:12 to go or something like that. I'm like, Mac Jones, okay, worst case scenario, you go to overtime. Mac Jones leads them on a touchdown drive with 1 minute to go. Yes, that Mac Jones. Yeah. But when I heard news that Bill Belichick signed a contract prior to the game, I knew it was over.
You know what's funny? For all that we make of Mac Jones, but Bill Belichick, Maz, and hey, you know what? After this season, Robert Kraft has to have a conversation, say, give me the GM reins, and you can stay on as coach, and this, that, and the third. I had a conversation just out there with Chaz brother. Shout out to Chaz brother. If you remove Bill Belichick, or if you go to Robert, how do you go to Robert Kraft and say, hey, man, we're thinking about removing you after he's like basically built your franchise? Like he's won 6 rings, and not only just won 6 rings, every little piece of that franchise, the building on the inside, HR department, the cafeteria, how the dimensions are done upstairs in the office, the personnel, the players, that's all Bill Belichick. If you ask Bill Belichick to sit down, or if he leaves, you got to sell the franchise. Like, who the hell is going to come in and just coach that? Because he's not just the coach, he runs it all. So Kraft was like, look, you got me 6 championships. Just get us to the playoffs.
Actually, he did the contract in the off season. It wasn't yesterday.
Yeah. But it was announced yesterday.
Yeah. Because someone leaked it.
Yeah. Leaked it.
It was a leak.
Guys, we'll take a break. When we come back, it was a great Saturday night in East Lansing. Maz was there. We'll talk about that next. And the new betting favorite to win the national championship and some other award, too. But first, a message from Feldman.
Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer with 18 locations. There's a Feldman dealership near you and in your neighborhood. Visit FeldmanAuto.com. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class buying experience. It is called the Feldman Advantage. Take advantage.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Hey, gang, let's talk about Outdoor Equipment Company, the official outdoor equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan-grown, family-owned bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, even weed whippers, Liberty trailers, Generac generators, SnowX plows, and salters. Get all your Outdoor Equipment Company, get it all it has to offer. Buy it, rent it, 0% financing, delivered to your doorstep. Get it now ahead of that snow and winter and craziness. OutdoorEquipCo.com, OutdoorEquipCo.com. Hold it up loud and proud. The Michigan Wolverines completely destroyed the Michigan State Spartans on Saturday night in East Lansing. 49-0 was the final. It was exactly what you wanted, really on the lower end maybe of what you wanted. I think a lot of Michigan fans wanted to see a 60 spot, a 70 spot, whatever the case may be. Look, I took great pleasure in watching that game. The only thing that would have given me more pleasure is if Mel Tucker was on the sidelines to see it, because that is his fault, not Harlan Barnett. I thought Harlan Barnett, by the way, after the game, the handshake, that guy is all class. Yeah. That is not on him. That is on Mel Tucker and the disaster of Michigan State University.
Definitely didn't like to see Mel Tucker be able to escape 2-1 against Jim Harbaugh. Actually, 2-1 against Michigan. But, hey, he is and it is what it is. We did get the win, 49. I'm actually pissed. Like, see, Jim Harbaugh, and I said this earlier, he's a much nicer guy than I am, because I would have hung 75 on him. I was in East Lansing on Wednesday, and I told you I was at that event around McDonald House. It was an excellent event. And all the Michigan State people, little jabs, like, you guys spying on us. I was like, in lieu of everything that you guys got going on right now, this institution, that's the joke you have for me. So I wanted 75, but it didn't get that. But you saw what you needed out of Michigan. I mean, hell, their stars didn't even play after past 10 minutes in the third. They dominated that game on all ends. And Ryan, it was Michigan State. And I talked to my mentor, Dan Russell, who went to Michigan State in the 90s. Like, Michigan State fought hard. Like, they fought hard early on in the game. Like, they got a couple first downs. Like, they were on defense. They got a stop or two. But you saw the aggression. You saw what they tried to do. But that Michigan, they were just too good. Like, Michigan this is the most efficient. This is the most efficient Michigan team I've seen since the 97 team. Like, they're the most efficient team. Now, they just do a lot of things. Well, there are some things I'm still worried about. But they overwhelm you. They play together. They play in unison. Like, Jim Harbaugh has done a great job of recruiting his players, too. Like, their focus is football. Like, that's one of the things I was amazed in watching the game. Just these guys' attention to details. You know, the guys exploring, like, getting better from year one to year two. The coaching, the development of the players, wide receivers, getting their depth better than they did last year. You see the quarterback now on the run, throwing the ball. Like, they're very efficient. They work hard. All they care about is football in Ann Arbor. A lot of other places, man, And that's where you start to see the difference in, like, you know, Georgia and some of these places. Like, yeah, they got big names and big talents and 5 stars, but there's a lot of distraction. There's the NFL. There's other stuff. There's the NFL, the NIL. There's other stuff. In Ann Arbor, all they focus on is football. And it seems like when they're done in Michigan, then we'll worry about the NFL. All they care about is winning at the collegiate level, and you can see it.
I love watching J.J.
Yeah.
Rye, sorry I was always busting your chops about this kid. Yeah, show me. Oh, I want to see what he's got. I know what he's got. He is an NFL quarterback. He is fantastic. It does help to play behind an NFL line. The way he was just running around. At one point, he was like, they got him for a sack. It's because he thought he could escape the guy. The guy got him on the shoe once. He's so good. He's so cool. He looked like Lamar Jackson yesterday. So comfortable behind his line, running up into the pocket, running back, circling around, looking for the receivers. The tight ends had a great day. Loveland is a terrific player, by the way.
Yeah.
They didn't need anything. It was just everything was wide open. Michigan State, they tried their best. They don't have the players. They just don't have the players. And I was at the game. The people were nice. They were kind. They knew what they were in for. There was a guy standing in front of me, and he wasn't going to sit down. I'm standing up all game. I'm like, geez. So I had to stand up. I don't want to stand. I want to sit. I want to watch a game. That's why I pay for a seat. But these guys want to stand. So I'll stand. I'll watch it. 14-0. I look at him. I'm like, what score does it have to be before you're going to sit down? And he just looked at me. Yeah. Come on, dogs. Let's go. Let's go. 21-0. He sat his ass down. I left my ass off.
Spartan dogs.
Yep, I left at 28-0. I saw they messed up at the end of the half as I was walking out.
Oh, my God.
And I got the hell out of there.
They just cannot get out of their own way. That thing at the end of the half with the Hitler, like, that was just like, that was the epitome of the week. That was the epitome of the week. It was funny. I had 2 conversations, Ryan, on Saturday. One before the game, one during the game. The one before the game was a little group text. It was myself, it was Jason Avant, and it was Steve, and it was Ron Bellamy. I posted something on Instagram of like me. It was a picture of me, Jason, and Steve. And I was like, damn, just imagine us in this day and age. He sent it to us in a group chat, and we all said, yo, good luck today. I sent this picture to him. This is Ron Bellamy. I sent the picture to him. This is 2002. I think he had 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. I say, yo, go out to represent. You know what the score of that game was?
49-3.
We score on Saturday, 49-0.
Wow. I'll tell you, I wanted that touchdown at the end of the half so bad because on Friday I said
so
35-0 at halftime.
Yep.
And I was that close from 35-0 at halftime. But look, I don't care who they're playing, okay? Michigan is the best football team in the country. They're the best college football team in the country. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind.
They're one of them.
They are the best football team in the country in college football. There is nobody doing to their opponents what North Carolina friggin' lost to a 2-5 team. Teams are struggling out there. Yeah. And J.J. McCarthy, I don't care what anybody says, is the best quarterback in the country. And you can say whatever you want about it. He is the most prototypical, perfect NFL quarterback in college football right now. And he is going to make some team very happy next year. He is now the betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. That is incredible. From out of nowhere to now the betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. And I don't care about individual awards, but I'm happy for him that he's getting the recognition. J.J. McCarthy is also the best Michigan quarterback in the history of the school, period. There isn't even anybody close. Nobody close to J.J. McCarthy. He is already the best quarterback we've ever seen wear a Michigan uniform.
What I would say to that is he is having the best season. He's having the second best season, I would think, this year behind Michael Penix in terms of just being a quarterback. J.J. McCarthy is definitely going to be a damn good pro. He's a leader. He can throw on the run. He has a freaking cannon. He's not white boy fast, Ryan. That boy is fast. Like, the boy can run. Like, he's cold. But at the same time, I haven't seen JJ play in the space of having to come back. And I think that's the last thing that I want to see him put his stamp on. He played damn good at Ohio State last year, 100%. But I just want to see him have one of those games where I'm like, yeah, Like, yeah. Like, as opposed to always being ahead, playing on schedule, doing whatever you want to do, being able to dominate teams and defense being able to give you the ball back. To your credit, it's not his fault his team's that good. It's not his fault the teams he's playing. But when you want to put that stamp on it like that, I got to be able to see you in a situation where it's like, all right, yo, JJ, we need 10 points. Like, we need you to go out there and make something happen. But to your point, he is playing the most efficient. He is playing the most dialed in. And I am seeing another JJ. And I can't wait to see what that game is going to look like in Happy Valley. I can't wait to see November 25th what that Ohio State game is going to look like in Ann Arbor. And I can't wait to see what the first round of the semifinals. He is having himself a damn gear. That throw to number one, that throw to Roman Wilson.
Gorgeous.
He's having himself a damn good year, Ryan.
And I'll tell you, I don't know if anybody out there watched the Ohio State Penn State game. I watched every single play of that game.
That was a stinker.
Yeah, I did too.
Neither of those two teams can compete with Michigan.
No.
They just can't. It is going to be a bloodbath in Happy Valley, and it's going to be another bloodbath in Ann Arbor when Ohio State comes to town. Those two offenses, and you can talk to me about the good defense, this, that, and the other thing. Those two offenses cannot compete with Michigan. And those two quarterbacks certainly will not be better than J.J. McCarthy on the field. It is incredible to see. I hope Michigan fans, I was bored with this season. I really was. I was really bored with this season. College football started for me on Saturday, and I hope Michigan fans, because I assume J.J. McCarthy is going to leave for the NFL draft next year. I just assume that. Yeah. Maybe he comes back. I don't see it. Maybe he comes back. We'll see. Hey, maybe he can make $5, $6, $7 million next year as the head coach, as the quarterback of Michigan. I'm not sure. But that young man is playing as good a football as anybody we've ever seen in a Michigan uniform. Enjoy it for the next couple of months. Enjoy it.
The biggest win, the largest win since 1947 in that series, by the way.
What?
The largest win.
What was that win?
49-0.
Oh, 49.
A 49-point spread was the largest since 1947.
We won by 46, so my bad. That's what I was trying to see. Yeah, Ryan, can I pose one question about Michigan? One thing that bothers me?
Ask it, and I'll answer it after the break.
All right, here's a question before we go to break. Does Michigan's run game not being efficient as it has been, or not being as dominating as it has been, is that cause for concern?
Let's talk about that next. But first, a message from Swiss.
Do you have football on the brain? Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year is going to be awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop at Lugga Pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. That number again, 248-800-4177. Swiss Insurance, they're covering us, so they should be covering you too.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Let me tell you about Les Stanford. Buick GMC. That's right. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. They offer the same great service that customers have come to know. If you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. All GM brands under one umbrella. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them. Hey, and don't forget that the Woodward Sports Lions pregame show returns for another Lions season. Join WSN host Jeff Iafrate, weekly special guest, the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Whether you're sipping the Kool-Aid or kicking the same old Lions, you will not want to miss this show live every week. This week, it'll be on Monday Night Football. Join us all season long. Action-packed Lions pregame experience. All right, am I concerned with the running game, Braylon? We were talking about Michigan Wolverines, Michigan football. They have not dominated in the run game like we have seen them dominate in the past. And I think the answer to that, I would say, is no. I am not concerned with that because I feel like they are using the run. They are using the pass now to set up the run where they used to set up the pass. Right. Set up the run. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I just think they're trying to feature JJ. Last year they were trying to feature Blake. And they got 6-7 yards. I think they want to feature their playmakers, and that's exactly what they're doing with Roman Wilson and JJ McCarthy. It just feels like they're getting to do whatever they want to do through the air.
Yeah, I just had a little cause concern. I think just a little differently. Their offensive line was so dominant the last 2 years. You know, you're talking about last year. They led the nation. The year before that, they led the nation. They won the Joe Moore both years in a row. And when you had Blake Corum and Hassan Haskins, and then Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards last year, they were murdering. I'm talking about to the tune of, like, Blake's getting 160 easy. Blake's getting 140. Then it got to the point where, all right, I'm Blake Corum, I'll take 120. Donovan Edwards was getting 90. He was getting 100. They were both getting 100. Now Blake's struggling to score 70, to score 80. And I'm wondering two things. One, last 2 years, Blake wasn't even getting touched before 4 or 5 yards. Like, they weren't even getting touched. Now Blake is having to make moves in the backfield. Blake is having to like shake guys in the blender, 1 yard removed from the line of scrimmage. So just cause some concern. And also, Donovan Edwards. I just haven't seen Donovan Edwards be with Donovan Edwards I want him to. Now, with that being said, when your team is that good, when your team is hitting on all cylinders, you start micromanaging everything, and that is just a little bit of my micromanaging. But I want to see that get better.
I love the teammate that Donovan Edwards is, though. I will say that. We could say whatever we want. Obviously, Donovan Edwards is not having this breakout year I think all of us expected him to have.
Especially after saying he's going to be the best running back of all time.
And especially after seeing what he did against Ohio State last year without Blake Corum and seeing him finally get a chance to be the featured guy, and then to have this year kind of go the way it's gone, I think is a little disappointing. But then you see that young man on the sidelines having fun and pumping his teammates up, and you know exactly the kind of kid he is and what he's doing there on the sidelines. And when he gets into the game, no doubt. I love Donovan Edwards. I think he's going to be just fine. Yeah. But as far as Michigan is concerned, I don't think they are going to be stopped this year. Yeah. I just don't.
I hope not, because Blake Corum didn't come into this season, Ryan Ermanni, as the number 9 running back in the country, or the number 10, or the number 11, or the number. He came into the season as the number 1 running back in the country, and for whatever reason, and maybe it was the injury. Let's keep in mind he did have surgery in the offseason. He just hasn't gotten to that pace. So hopefully it happens.
All right, Michigan remains number 2 in the AP poll this week. And again, Georgia on top, number 1, Ohio State with a win. I don't even want to call it an impressive win over Penn State.
They beat a top 10 team.
Yes. But I'll tell you, neither of those teams are any good.
But maybe they just canceled each other out in that game. Could they both have played a mediocre game and the home team got the win?
Well, I'll tell you, James Franklin is a terrible coach. I have no idea.
He's a great recruiter, bad coach.
I don't know how you can be. What are you telling these kids?
I don't know, but he does.
To have Dan Orlovsky this week, I don't know if you saw him, but he was like, oh, I love James Franklin. He's a great coach, but You know, he's setting this kid up to fail. He doesn't let this kid play. This quarterback, you finally got this really good quarterback, and you won't let him play.
I think too, you know, you're watching that game, you got to be honest with yourself. The reason why Ohio State won is because, one, Penn State's a young squad. Like, Penn State is full of freshmen and sophomore. Next year, Penn State's going to be a problem in the Big Ten, and not just a problem in Ohio State, a problem in Ann Arbor as well. With that being said, Ibuka didn't play for Ohio State. He's the number 2 receiver in the country. I didn't say 3 or 4 or 7 or 10 or he's good. He's the number 2 receiver in the college, maybe 3 behind the right receiver from Washington. Yep. I think he might be number 2. Ibuka's 3. When you got the number 1 receiver and you're missing Ibuka, well, all that we have to do is let's just stop him, who still had 162. I don't think Kyle McCord is good. Like, I don't think their quarterback is good. I don't think their talent has dropped off every year. Every year since that first win, their talent has dropped off progressively. So I agree with you on that. Ohio State got lucky that Penn State's young team. If they weren't young, they would beat the hell out of Ohio State.
And honestly, there was a defensive touchdown in that game. It was a sack fumble touchdown for Penn State. They would have taken the lead 10-3, and instead there was a defensive hold.
Yeah.
Kind of
changes the whole game.
It did, because then Ohio State scored a touchdown later in that possession.
Look at Michigan State 2 years ago.
I was just about to say, where have I heard that play before?
Yeah. I'm telling you guys, don't crap too much on both those teams.
I'm not crapping.
No, I know. Don't crap on Ohio State. Don't crap on them.
I won't crap on Marvin Harrison.
I mean, you just said it, Bray. Yeah. They're gonna have the number 1 and number 3 wide receiver going against Michigan. Now,
but if
Michigan
they got Ryan Ermanni throwing to him, it don't matter.
Hey, you know what?
Hey, you got arm now.
Bad Ohio State quarterbacks have beaten Michigan in the past because of the rest of the talent.
Listen. I do not have a lot of wins against Ohio State, and if you ask a Michigan player, they never played against an Ohio State team that was better. If you ask Ohio State player, they never played against a Michigan that was better. But my senior year, Ohio State was ass. Like, I'm talking about, they were not good. They were 5-6 going into the game. They had 6 losses already. This was Troy Smith's sophomore year, his really first year starting, if you will, his Ted Ginn's freshman year. But they weren't a good football team. Not only did they beat us, it wasn't really close. I mean, we had a chance to get close at the end, but they beat us. To his point, it's still the rivalry regardless. It's still that rivalry. But Kyle McCord stinks. He does stink.
Yeah, no doubt.
He beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, he did beat Notre Dame.
Sam Hartman is not as good as I thought he was. I thought he was going to be a lot better. Yeah, I thought he was.
Great mustache.
He was damn good at Wake Forest. I thought he was going to be really good for them. I thought he was going to take them over the top. Just hasn't worked out for them.
I am shocked that, I don't want to say shocked, but I think the loss of the weekend was North Carolina. If you have a quarterback the caliber of Drake May, you don't lose to a 2-5 team. That's another knock against Drake May.
I agree.
That's what you said about Will Levis, right? Same thing.
I agree.
He lost those games in college.
And look what happened.
He can't beat out Malik Willis right now.
I just, again, it seemed and sounded like one of the more ridiculous takes. Can't be an opinion, it's a take. Right?
It's a take.
I hate the word take,
I know,
by the way. I've become to hate that word.
I hate the word take, but I think so many people
take.
Just completely blasphemous that I said that JJ would be the number 1 overall pick or the first quarterback taken. But you look around here. Yeah, Michael Penix is a great player.
He's older.
24 years old. Going to be 25 his rookie season. That's a big deal. Drake May losing to a 2-5 Virginia team, completing half of his passes.
How about those Who's?
24 of 48. He was 24 of 48 at home against a 2-5 team. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's Will Levis type stuff. That's Mitchell Trubisky type stuff. Then you've got
Quinn Ewers is hurt.
Quinn Ewers
is out. He's out for a few weeks now for Texas.
He just lobs the ball up there, and then
he's a good player.
And then you've got Caleb Williams, who lost again for the 3rd time to Utah. They have 2 losses in the season. He's out of the Heisman. He's out of the playoff. So the question becomes, why play the rest of the year? That's what Emmanuel Acho posted on Twitter this week. With the national championship hopes gone, Caleb Williams should consider sitting out the rest of the season. The Heisman is a long shot. College football playoffs are even less likely, and he won't play in a bowl game. The risk of playing far outweighs the reward. Business decision. I want your take on that, Braylon. I want it next. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of the house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800. That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. So register today at OutdoorEquipCo.com, and even you could have DMAC on your landscaping crew.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Outside, so it's time to go inside and play golf at 5 Iron Golf, located downtown in the Cambria Hotel. Sim rentals, lessons, leagues, bar, and restaurant. The restaurant, the food is good, but it's just a great place to hang out and have a good time. On Thursday, it's 5 to 7. We do the Woodward Sports Golf League. So come on down, hang out with the crew, and then we'll let that taper off in the Thursday night football. It's Trackman simulators. Look, they got it all. Come on down, 5 Iron Golf, downtown Detroit.
All right, guys, talking about college football now, J.J. McCarthy, Drake May, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, great quarterbacks. But Caleb Williams, with another disappointing performance, they lose to Utah. It's his third loss to Utah.
Without Cam Rising.
Absolutely. And Emmanuel Acho suggested that Caleb Williams not play the remainder of the year, calls it a business decision, thinks that should be the case. Braylon, what do you make of that?
Nick Bosa, it was not Nick Bosa, excuse me. Yeah, Nick Bosa did this 4 years ago.
You bet.
Faked an ankle injury to a certain extent. His dad told him, and his brother, who was already in the NFL, which he got guidance from, which a big brother's supposed to do. He's like, man, shut it down. Shut it down. Y'all not going to win the national championship, man. Even if y'all did, it's not going to change where you're going to go in the draft. It sucks from a perspective where you know a person isn't hurt, so it's coming from just a choice to sit out. But I think this era's kid or this era's player, at least in college, it's different. It's different understanding. Like if I'm a teammate of Caleb Williams, I'm like, shoot, we wouldn't have been nearly as good as we were without Caleb Williams and taking us to where he has. Hey, look, you're going to shut it down. You don't want to risk being hurt. You're the #1 pick. You've already done enough to be that. As his teammate with NIL and how money is and my understanding of it at 18 now versus when I was in college, I wouldn't have understood it. Yeah, I can say I understood it 100%. I said you can sit down and shit. People can say what they want, but as his teammate, I would understand it.
I do wonder what the NIL deals are if you have to play. If you quit, do you get paid? You know,
that's a good point.
So I don't know what those
Quinn
negotiations
Ewers got
are
paid,
like.
and he never played it down for Ohio State.
He transferred.
Right. But Ohio State was paying him the mill.
But again, I think the booster paid him the mill to go to Ohio State. So it's like each deal is a different deal.
Yeah.
Because it's the wild, wild west out there. So I just don't know. I would say this about Caleb Williams, and something that his camp should be concerned about a little bit. You get a lot more money if you're the number 1 pick as opposed to the number 5 pick. Or the number 6 pick, the number 2 pick, whatever the case may be. The narrative on Caleb Williams is changing. Whether it was wanting ownership, to wanting to decide whether you wanted to play in the city or not, otherwise you just come back to school. And now this, potentially, and again, this isn't him saying this, but this is somebody else saying this, but if he does quit, for lack of a better way to say it, if he does sit out, let's say it like that, if he does sit out now, these are 3 things that develop a narrative about you and about all of these other players, whether it's Nick Bosa or Joey Bosa or Jamar Chase. Not Jamar. Was it Jamar Chase? Or,
no.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. You know what all those players are?
Jamar Chase got hurt, yeah.
You know what all those players are not?
Quarterbacks.
They're not quarterbacks. And when a team invests in a quarterback, they want to make sure that that's the right guy, too. I think not just the right player, but the right guy. And those 3 things add to a narrative that make you shake your head a little bit or make you waver at least, I think, anyway.
I would agree with you if this was 12. If this was even 8 years ago, Ryan, I would agree with you 100%. Now, everybody's trying to find a dude. And by the way, I know I'm changing the conversation. Hey, Gentry, shout out to the Vipers hoodie. I didn't peep you had the Vipers hoodie on, man. I was at that Gordie Howe game when he broke the record playing in 7 decades. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I think now everybody's so into trying to get a dude. Like, once you see a guy perform or a guy have one of those moments or some of those moments or some of those games, you know, you watch Trevor Lawrence in his 2 years, you're like, he's going number 1. You watch Bryce Young, he wins the Heisman in his sophomore year, you like, then you see it again his junior before you're like, that guy's going number 1. You've seen enough moments already. A lot of times they don't care about the other stuff. They'll find it. If you're a dude, and he's been a dude his time at USC, and this year, like he's had a bad game. Hell, I saw Patrick Mahomes throw 3 interceptions earlier on this season. People have bad games, especially when you don't have that talent out there around you, like his guy that was hurt. But I think he'll still be fine because a lot of this stuff it's a new era. Everybody's trying to figure out how far they can push the envelope. Like, what can I get? Like, that's what everybody's looking at. What can I get? Well, I'm going to say I want this. You're just trying to see where the level stops. Like, what can you have and what can you get and what can you not? So he'll calm down. They'll calm him down. But his talent speaks for itself. I mean, you saw what he did against Colorado. You can tell me how bad that team sucks. To do what he did at the end of that game, I mean, what he did last year to Utah, he's had those moments. He's had enough where he's fine.
Listen, we all know his talent.
He got to stop listening to his dad, though.
He's phenomenal. He is. He's going to be a terrific quarterback. I don't know if I really like the guy. He's kind of like he's the way he's developing, and you said it, Rye. He's got an aura about him that it's about me. It's a me. Did you hear him the other day? He's like, yeah, there's a lot of people that want to be. And what number does he wear?
13.
There's a lot of people that want to be in 13 shoes. You know, when you start talking about in the third person type thing, I start not liking you. But you know what? You got to be that way, I guess, if you want to be a real go-get-it quarterback.
And man, you know, it's also too. It's not. You're absolutely correct. And like his persona, persona has definitely evolved from backing up Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma to taking over to. He struggled a little bit at Oklahoma towards the end. People don't remember that, but it's this era. Like the coaches, boosters are telling you that guy.
Right.
You got people coming up to you at 15 years old, like, hey man, we'll give you $1 million to go to Georgia. We'll give this before you go here. Like, they've put that in his head. We've pumped him up in the media. We've pumped him up.
Reporters are talking to him. He makes $1 million, 2 million times more than they make.
So now they're not even going. They're not student athletes anymore.
Right.
To a certain extent, they're businesses.
They're pros.
They're CEOs.
Yep.
Like they're their own companies. They're their own brands. And when you treat them as such, that's where the mentality starts to change. You're not treating them as kids or young men or athletes, or you're treating them like businessmen. So if I'm a business, if you have to pay me for my brand or pay me for my product, that means we're sitting across from a business table. That means a boardroom. That means I can have dictation. I can have, I want to negotiate my piece. I want to negotiate what I should get. So because the NIL has done that to players' minds, they're not student athletes anymore. They are businesses. They are corporations. And now you try to see, how far can I take it?
Yeah, and then I wonder what kind of knock Lincoln Riley is on a Caleb Williams. I mean, Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. Of course, Jalen Hurts too is a Lincoln Riley, but it's 1 year.
He went to the Heisman.
Yeah, 1 year of Jalen Hurts for Lincoln Riley, but you look at the Lincoln Riley tree in the NFL, and outside of Jalen Hurts, not too many people believe. I think Kyler Murray is not the answer in Arizona, and maybe even Arizona thinks that. Baker Mayfield, we had no idea if he was going to get cut by Tampa, let alone be the starting quarterback. But he got outplayed yesterday by Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
So there's so many different question marks when it comes to Lincoln Riley quarterbacks too. You just something to keep an eye on. We'll see where this goes. I feel like the player gets bad advice from his dad too.
I agree.
That's another part of this whole thing. The dad seems like he's a headache, and that you carry that influence if you're Caleb Williams, fortunately or unfortunately.
At the end of the day, with his father, let's say his father is having these questions with him. Let's say his father's having these questions. Can we get ownership? What if we set out a year and so you don't have to go to Chicago and then you come back to USC and you make money? These are fun conversations to have. But it's just like Vito said in The Godfather. Don't talk about family business outside the family. So if these are conversations that you're having, it's fine. Your agent, because he already has an agent, we know this, agent, your father, your mother, or your team. But don't go leaking that information, or don't go dropping those gems on YouTube or some podcast or some some article. Don't go
have it privately.
Have it private. Right. Don't put family business out there.
Right, no doubt. Guys, we'll take a break. We'll go around the NFL next. But first, a message from Big Boy.
All right, guys. Big Boy, the best cheeseburger and chicken sandwiches in town. Try that new pretzel bacon cheeseburger, or if you're in the mood for chicken, the Dolly chicken sandwich or Bob's hot chicken sandwich might be right up your alley. But those French fries, that's what you really want to spice it up. You want to get those chili cheese fries and the loaded baked potato fries, but make sure you save room for dessert. The Reese's chocolate peanut butter Thunder Cake and those funnel cake fries that to die for. And, of course, get yourself a shake and a Big Boy, too, at Big Boy.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
At the Academy of Warren, they have a brand new state-of-the-art sports dome field house with a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field that can also be used for 7-on-7 football, K-8 that features AM and PM latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and obviously so much more. The Academy of Warren is now accepting new enrollments. Go to the academyofwarren.net. That website again, academyofwarren.net.
Friend of the show, big bro, and analyst on the show as well, Lindsey Hunter just stopped in. How cool is it that we have like world champions just passing through here?
I love that guy.
D-Max got 4 cups he's passed through. Lindsey's got 2 titles with the Pistons and with the Lakers. You got Kurt getting his haircut. waving to us from time to time. He got 2 World Series wins. A lot of champions just walking
Yes,
through the building.
sir. Yes, sir.
I got a Big Ten championship. You know?
You do.
I ain't as cool.
And 2 AFC title runner-ups.
Hey guys, before we get to the around the NFL, Pete Thamel, is that how you say his name? Thamel.
New York Times
reporting sources.
Oh, sources.
And again, these leaks are incredible. They're just simply these leaks.
Yeah.
Michigan staffer Connor Stallions bought tickets to more than 30 games at 11 Big Ten schools over the past 3 years. Also, video evidence of sideline taping is expected to be sent to the NCAA this week, caught by stadium surveillance this year.
That's what was. What's his name from Rutgers was talking about. Schiano, when he was like, "There's bad things going around here. We got to get to the bottom of this." That's what he's talking about.
I mean, I'm sorry. Again, the kid was acting alone. I
ain't got time for that BS, man. We buried them, man, on Saturday. But I do have time for.
Right.
You see what just happened? You see the trade, the announcement that just came out?
Come on, Bray.
Freaking the best teams always try to get better. What we talking about earlier in the show? We were talking about be buyers by the trade deadline because you want to improve, you want to get better. Well, the Philadelphia Eagles just picked up Kevin Byard from the Titans, who's an all-pro safety and actually at one point was the best free safety in the NFL. You're talking 4 years ago. And now he's going to be what? An Eagle. How many people are they going after in the last couple of years? Because the object of the game, and Maz, you said, and they won a Super Bowl. Yeah. And what did I tell you? They want to win another one.
Yep.
So if you want to win at the end of the day, you don't have to panic. But if you see room for improvement, which there always is, go out and make sure you provide the right
Jeff
improvement.
Lurie has got the pockets. He's like, go get it. Nick Sirianni, he's out there, man. You don't like the brotherly push, whatever the hell they call it, the tush push. You don't like it, then we're going to still run it. They ran it on their own 25-yard line last night. Right. They just don't give a damn.
Right.
And you know what? They're going to try to win, and that's why you have to keep them in the top 2 teams of the NFC, no matter how they're playing.
Can I just 2 comments? One on this Michigan thing. Last thing I'm going to say about it. The NCAA is leaking this stuff. I don't know what they have. You can talk to me about the sources and this, that, and the other thing. We don't have evidence of anything yet. If they show me evidence of something, I might reserve the right to change my mind. But without me seeing any type of physical evidence,
show me a pay stub.
In this case, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. It doesn't change anything for me whatsoever.
Maybe the kid likes going to games.
At all. Doesn't change anything for me whatsoever. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. I know you want it to mean something to me. It doesn't mean anything to me right now. It just doesn't.
Just a side note on that. Michigan State was running to the sidelines, getting their plays, right there from the coach. They're running it back. It was 49-0. It should have been 75-0. It don't matter what play you're calling. It doesn't matter. It's scouting. That's what it's called.
Well, I wish they would have scouted better against TCU last year, if that was the case.
Exactly.
Okay? Or Georgia, whatever. About the Monday night game and about Philadelphia. Philadelphia is good, yes. But, man, they got bailed out last night. These officials. And Mike McDaniel, did you see him?
Yeah, but it's not the coach.
That was
it's not the coach.
It was true stuff, but it was a
It's
fake
Mike
account.
McDaniel, a fan.
Okay, Mike McDaniel, the fan, pointed out how bad the officials were yesterday.
Yeah.
And these officials, I'm watching this game last night, and there was this face mask right in front of the guy.
Pulled him out of bounds.
On a 4th down. It was so egregious. He grabbed his face mask, turned his head on a 4th down right in front of the official. And I'm thinking to myself, Miami will keep the possession there. Because obviously rooting for Miami.
Yeah.
And we need the Eagles to lose. Lions lost.
Plus, we picked them.
And then, when you're, that too. But when you're looking on the scoreboard for the flag thing to come up?
Of course.
Yeah. Nothing.
I don't see the flag thing. I'm like, no.
Did Chris Collinsworth catch it?
Collinsworth caught it.
Oh, yeah. He was,
10 penalties against Miami, 0 penalties called against the Philadelphia Eagles last night. That is insane.
Yeah, no, it was definitely one of those games where
wow.
I wish it had. Once I saw that, I wish it hadn't looked like that. So then I can kind of see this game, view this game differently, see what the Dolphins really have. Because, I mean, you look at that, and there was some
They
agreement.
may go in for a tie.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say. But like Mike McDaniel said, they had some opportunities there. They did beat themselves. Like the one interception by Darius Slay. Darius Slay is getting a lot of credit. Like Darius Slay is an all-pro friend of the show.
That's a PI.
100% that's a PI. But the other part of it, too, is the guys were in wrong position. There's no reason why Raheem Mostert and Waller should have both been in the same area. So they had some miscues, but the refs definitely gave them a little boost. They gave them a little help out there.
Well, did you hear like the developing story that the guy is actually like the head ref was
The
from,
ACC?
Yeah, he's lives 60 miles away from the stadium, and he's been caught numerous times and suspended numerous times for unethical officiating.
Hey man, it's Philly, man. You never know with the Eagles.
Right. What else you got, Matt?
Go around the NFL. Well, tonight you got the pretty good game. The 49ers at the Vikings tonight. Vikings are a home underdog. Home underdogs have been doing pretty good so far if you catch it around the Heat League. I like Minnesota to stay in this game. Who do you guys like tonight?
I'm sorry, I won't be watching because Christian McCaffrey, the team that he's on in my fantasy, already got blew out 225-75. So I'm going to be watching the baseball game.
Well, I'll be flipping.
I'm just messing with you. It's going to be an interesting one. I think this is going to be a good game for Brock Purdy in this sense. Everybody keep talking about what is in relation to Brock Purdy. Is he the guy or is he Mr. Relevant? Is he just playing with super talent? Like, how good is he? Well, Debo's not playing and Christian McCaffrey is a game-time decision. So if Brock Purdy really is like that, we're going to find out tonight.
I recuse myself from picking as penance for an 0-7 pick.
Why don't you just tell everyone who you like so they can do what they want with it?
I would think Minnesota tonight.
Okay, guys, you know what to do.
That's the opposite.
You know what to do.
I would think Minnesota tonight.
I'll talk about the game that
What
knocked.
do you think?
I like the Vikings.
Yeah.
I like the Vikings. I do.
I take San Fran.
Okay.
I take San Fran.
We're not going to add it to your record. Don't worry. We're not going to take it
I'm
away.
still losing.
Hey, let's talk about the game that knocked
I'm
Ryan out of
second
Survivor. The New England Patriots come back and they knock off Buffalo 29-25. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Buffalo
They
Bills.
suck.
But Bill
coach sucks,
Belichick,
too.
let's put this up. Bill Belichick got his 300th win. Congratulations to Bill Belichick, now trailing only Don Shula at 328 and Papa Bear Hallis at 318.
Yeah, not only did he get his 300th win, he also got paid to the tune of 5 years, $100 million extension. So everybody's talking about this conversation that's going to happen. They already did, and he got paid.
Hey, Pittsburgh beat the Rams 24-17. The Rams outgained Pittsburgh in this game. But Pittsburgh, I told you, off the bye. They had a win prior to that. Mike Tomlin, that's a hell of a coach, man. They win ugly. T.J. Watt is a monster.
Yeah.
But Puka Nacua is kicking ass. This kid, he don't drop a ball. Right. Read those stats.
Puka Nacua, 8 receptions, $154, averages 19.2 yards per reception, and that is with Cooper Kupp coming back for the LA Rams.
It's awesome.
The officials cost the Rams a win there, too. Well, we don't know, but it cost the Rams a position to get a win in that one. The Rams didn't have any timeouts to challenge a spot. It was a terrible spot on a 4th-and-1 play. Clearly not a first down.
Right, I saw that.
Officials come and spot it as a first down, and you're like,
they were a yard short.
What in the world is happening?
Hey, but I'm telling you, I always say that. We talk about it. As sports gambling, ever since it got introduced, it's been a lot of weird things. Like we saw that play last year. It's the Giants and the Commanders.
Oh, God.
It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Right in front of them.
But I was watching that game, and I kept actually X'd a couple times about it. Or X is that how you say it?
Yeah,
whatever.
sure.
I like X
Twitter.
tweeted or post. There you go, X posted. I'm like, man, this guy is a monster. Dang, this guy's a savage. Dang. But that was all in the second quarter. He had 154. Halfway through the second and finished with 154. What the hell
He's the
happened?
real deal.
But what happened between halfway through the second and the rest of the game? He had 154 in the second quarter.
Well, Pittsburgh shut him down after that.
No
Good
doubt.
defense.
Yep.
Chicago knocked off the Raiders 30-17. 3 touchdowns for Dante Foreman. Giants hang on. They beat Washington 14-7. Saquon scored, and he might have got hurt. He might have hurt his elbow.
Yeah.
Again,
Poor guy.
this poor guy can't stay healthy.
doubt.
Cleveland,
Taylor.
the game of the week.
You skipped over Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, yeah, Tyrod Taylor
Is there a
did well.
quarterback controversy now?
Nah, I don't think so.
I think you got to ask if there's a quarterback controversy in Chicago.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I think you might have to do.
No, Justin Herbert was
Kid
in.
scored 30 freaking points.
I know Justin Herbert was in the background
Field.
cheering him on.
Yeah.
The kid's going to, not Justin Herbert, you know what I mean.
I know what
Justin
you mean.
Fields.
Yeah. Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. Cleveland, 39-38 over Indy. That's another referee game. Did you see what they were doing to the poor Colts?
The Colts got
they got jobbed
yesterday. It's 3 games affected by the 3 games in which the officials affected the outcome of the game.
It's terrible.
I don't know how you change it. Everybody's like full-time refs. Does that change anything? Does that change
I don't know.
anything?
It might.
Or do you just need some sort of common sense command center where you're buzzing down to these guys? No, got it wrong.
Yep.
No, got it wrong. No, got it wrong.
I like that.
You just, it doesn't.
Yeah.
How about you're allowed to challenge everything?
Well, I think, again.
Incoming 5-hour game.
I don't care. You only get you only get a certain amount of challenges, but you're allowed to challenge everything.
There's just too much at stake not to be able to.
Yeah.
There's so much money involved. You know, I mean, I think about Mike McDaniel last night. If you were able to challenge the face mask, holding, you're probably not going to get the benefit of the doubt on the holding. But when you see a grasp, a clutch, and a twist, and the guy gets pulled out of bounds, that's an obvious one that I would think
and it's the dumbest,
you could challenge.
It's the dumbest reason why they don't allow you to change, why you don't allow you to challenge everything. And the reason is they don't like to put their boys on blast.
Well,
like that's
tough.
the layman terms way to say it is they don't like putting their boys on blast. It's like that in a lot of places, but for them, if you make a face grab, let's say Carl calls face mask or doesn't call face mask and he missed it, and you go back, and then the head judge is like, yeah, that was a face mask. But now you're like, it's like your own teammate.
Even like last night, the roughing the passer penalty.
Oh, my God. Yeah, but he pushed them, and that's the rule.
Okay, 2-hand touch. Guys, I got to get a break in. When we come back, a couple of baseball games today. Maz will let us know what's going to happen in these games. Max Scherzer on the mound for the Rangers tonight. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest hotels, restaurants, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience a Fairway difference for yourself today. All you have to do is head on into the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks. They're located on Mack Avenue. If you can't head there in person, you can order online. They ship next day. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com.
By now you know
Here comes Cody Engel
as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Hey gang, join Woodward Sports and Long Drink every home game for the official Lions VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market Shed 5. It's always a bash. It starts at 5:15. Come on out. Monday, the official Lions tailgate is back and better than ever. How would you like to pregame it with Woodward Sports and be treated like a VIP? Food, beverages, entertainment, all included. Get your tickets online today. BullseyeEventGroup.com. BullseyeEventGroup.com. Again, the doors open at 5:15 for Monday Night Football. You can win some today. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel or direct message on IG, Lions VIP.
Lions VIP.
Lions VIP. All right, Tom Mazaway, we come to you, the resident baseball expert. We have a game 7 and we have a game 6 tonight.
Yes, we'll start with game 6, which starts around 5 o'clock this afternoon. The Phillies, they're going to be loving this. The home crowd is going to be welcoming in the Diamondbacks for a game 6. Philly up 3-2. A year ago today is when Bryce Harper hit that 2-run homer to knock out the San Diego Padres and send the Phils to the World Series. Can he do it again? That should be a fun game. Or can Arizona hang on and send it to a game 7 tomorrow? And then, of course, we have a game 7 in the ALCS tonight at 8 o'clock, so you could be flipping channels if you like between Monday Night Football and the ALCS. Astros and the Texas Rangers. Rangers win it yesterday, 9-2, way closer than that score. The innings were unbelievable until they broke it open with 5 in the 9th inning. So tonight, Max Scherzer goes for the Rangers. He got dusted the last time he played, but that was the first time he threw a ball since August. And Christian Javier goes for Houston. Here's a little tidbit for you. Dusty Baker has never won a game 7. And Bruce Bochy has never lost a game 7. The road team is 6-0 in this series. But why do I have a bad feeling that the Astros will beat the Rangers tonight and get to the World Series again?
Somebody's got to, beat 7-1, and I think it's going to be Dusty Baker. I got a player for you, man. Tell me if I'm wrong. Where the hell has Alex Bregman been?
Well,
he hit one the other night, no?
He's starting to come out of it now. Unfortunately, he's starting to come out of it if you're rooting against the Astros like I am.
That's my name for the night. Alex Bregman.
Corey Seager has been crap for the Rangers. Their best hitter.
This is true.
So it's kind of evening out. Max Scherzer, man, he's got to throw his best game tonight. I know he's in his 40s. God bless him. He's had a phenomenal career.
Is he 40?
He's damn close.
30, because we're
he's damn close.
With me and Scherzer on the same
I gotta see a big game out of him tonight. And I know it's only his second game back from the oblique injury.
He's got to take some time. I know he's always been fast against the count. Like he's a guy that gets up there and pitch.
You hear him. You hear him throw the ball.
It's humming. He's got to take his time in this game.
Don't both these games feel like 2-1, 3-2 kind of games? Or
well, the ALCS has been overs.
I know.
Philly's gonna score some runs at the bank.
Yeah.
The NLCS has been a couple of unders, but mostly overs on that as well.
It's been so fun to watch, man.
Aroldis Chapman
so fun to watch.
It's got to become Aroldis Chapman again tonight for the Rangers if they have a chance to win. That kid that they put out there.
Oh, no.
I forget his name. He was out there last night scuffling. Jose Leclerc. He's not a closer.
That poor guy.
He's not a closer, but he's pitching his ass off.
And how about that big fat guy that came to the plate last night?
That's been out of the majors all those years. He's like Roy Hobbs, that guy. He had a great at-bat before they finally got him.
He swung at 2 balls. What do you mean great at-bat?
He was in there for like 11 pitches.
I know, but he swung at 2 balls to go down like 0-2.
Let's see you do it.
I'm just saying, you say he had a great at-bat. I'm like, dude just
great at-bat is 11 pitches.
Dude just walked the bases loaded. He comes up swinging at 2 balls. That's not a great at-bat to me.
All right.
I like when Dubon goes to bat. Like, it wasn't how you say Dubon?
Yeah, Mauricio Dubon.
The reason I love him, he's young and he just swings at everything. They put him in there and know what he's getting. He swung at the first 3 pitches, his first at bat, and think he got hit on
He's
the
a big Derek Jeter fan. I love the kid.
It's so funny, man. It is so great. I love the baseball playoffs. I don't want it to end.
I say it again. I say it every day. I don't know how you guys don't like it. How don't you like it?
I don't want it to end.
It's so different than any other sport because any play that you're watching, like you're gonna get a rise out of the crowd, you're gonna get a reaction, and any play could be the play. Like any play could just be a home run or be a great catch or a big, RBI. Is crazy.
Hey, we got Gentry in the house, right?
Red Wings.
The Red Wings have won 5 in a row. They sweep the weekend, and Alex DeBrincat is the man. 12 points, 8 goals, leads the NHL. Gentry, what do you got for me on these Red Wings?
How did they get this guy?
What the hell, man?
Steve,
out of the Senators, baby.
Steve being Steve, man. Leading the NHL in goals, though. Super hot start for Alex DeBrincat. Power play's been buzzing. He's been bringing out the best in Larkin. It's been awesome to see. Hopefully they can keep it up.
They host the Kraken tomorrow. You going to that game?
I'll be there, man.
How did they get this guy to break it, by the way? 25
They traded
years old.
for him.
I understand, but
He wanted out.
Who's trading him away?
I know. He wanted out of Ottawa.
was not very good.
Jeez.
But that's a hometown hat trick.
That's a dumb decision.
Congratulations.
For that team. Was that Ottawa?
Yeah.
Ottawa Senators.
All right, very good, guys. Bray, get us out of here. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Tuck coming. Go Blue.
Go Blue. But if you're a Lions fan, don't jump off the ledge. We got ways in which they can get better. And the Lions got a favorable schedule, and we know they're going to blow out the Raiders on Monday. So we'll talk more about the game that was, and we'll get some more sound from the Lions and see, what are they thinking this week into an extended week going against the Raiders. But appreciate you for tuning in. Sport with Sports Network. This is what we do. Gentry, we appreciate you. Man's on the couch over there. Shout out to the White Sox.
Thank you.
And your boy over there, Luke Geddes, Parker, and my boy Ryan Ermanni.
Oh, yeah.
Rocking Amazing Blue. You see what time it is. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.